Hello students, hope you are well at home and doing your hard work. So today with the continuation of the chapter 2 that is classification of business activities. Today we are doing the classification on the basis of ownership and its functions. As yesterday we had done the meaning and the characteristics of the business and the classification of the business on the basis of its operations. So today we are doing classification on the basis of ownership and its functions. And then we will discuss about the meaning of industry and the types of industries that are prevail in the society. So before that we are learning some key terms that today we are using. So that is, first one is the ownership. Ownership means the person who has a legal right and he is responsible and accountable for his actions. So simply we can say that owner is a person who has a legal right, maybe for some products or maybe for property, that he is the owner of that place or for that product. Then it is known as the owner. Next one is the public sector. Public sector like railways, defense industry, LIC, Life Insurance Corporation, Punjab National Bank, SBI, State Bank of India, like RBI, Reserve Bank of India. What are these? These are the government sectors, means where the government has a part to run, control and manage their functions, their activities. Then it is known as the public sector. Clear? Next, our key term is the private sector. Private sector like Reliance, Tata Industries, HDFC banks, Infosys, ITC companies. These are all the private sectors, private companies that are running in the society. So what is the difference between public and private? That private industries are those industries that are related with the individual or a group of persons, but they have a control on their activities by their own. Means government interference in their activities is not involved. Then it is known as the private sector. Next, our key term is the industry. Industry, simply we can say that a place where the production of the goods and the services are occur. Like growing of crops on a farms, manufacturing goods in a factory, extraction of coal from the mines. What are these? These are the places where the production of the goods and the services are done, and it is known as the industry. Next is the tertiary sector. Tertiary. As the name tertiary, it means the services that are provided to the customers, or it is known as the service industry. Like telecommunications, restaurants, banking, tourism. What are these? These are the things that provide the services to its customers. So that is why it is known as the tertiary sector. Next one is the raw material. Raw material like milk. If we use milk to make a curd or butter or cheese, then it is known as the raw material, because it is not directly consumed, but it is used for further production to produce some other thing. Then it is known as the raw material. Likewise, wood is used for making a furniture or bed. Then it is known as the raw material. So the products that helps to make the finished goods or that helps to make the further production, that is known as the raw material. So their question arises that what is finished goods? So our next key term defines that finished goods are those goods that are directly consumed by the consumer. That is why it is known as the finished goods. For example, like clothes, fruits, toys, TV that we watch. What are these? These are the things that are directly consumed by the consumer, and there is not involved any other further production. So I hope you are clear with the key terms. So next, today we are discussing about the classification on the basis of ownership. First one is the public sector, private sector second, and then third is the joint sector. After that, we will classify the business on the basis of its functions, that is industry and commerce. So first one is the ownership basis. It includes, first is the public sector. I'll give you an example of public sector like railways, steel industry, life insurance corporations, Reserve Bank of India, SBI, PNB, defense industries. What are these? These are the sectors that are owned, controlled, managed by the government. Means its activities are properly controlled by the government. And also the decisions related to these industries or these companies are in the hands of the public sector, means government sector. So the government has a power to take decisions. Next, these activities are done for the welfare of the people. Means there is not an involvement of the profit to earn more and more profit. It is not involved in this. There it thinks about the people to live a life happily. So it is the activities that are related with the welfare of the public. Next, the second type is the private sector. As private sector, there are lots of examples like Reliance, Tata Industries, Infosys, ITC companies, HUL, Hindustan Unilever Limited company, ICICI banks, HDFC banks. What are these? These all are included in the private sector because they owned, controlled and managed by the private sector. Means maybe by the one individual or by the group of companies or a group of peoples that involved in this. So that is why there is not an involvement of the government and it is known as the private sector. Also their motive is to earn profit, means to sell the goods and services in the market and to earn money, that is the profit for their products and the services. So that is why these are known as the private sectors. So next type is the joint sector. Joint sector means that are both owned, controlled by the private and the public sector. For examples like Maruti Suzuki corporations, Indian Oil corporations. What are these? These are the examples of the joint sector. In the Maruti Udyog, there is both the control of the government plus the Japanese companies who produces these goods. That is why it is known as the joint sector, where both the government and the private sector controlled and managed that company with both motives to earn profit and also to the welfare of the people. Then it is known as the joint sector. Clear? So, after the classification on the basis of ownership, that is private, public and the joint sector, we will discuss the classification on the basis of functions. There is first is the industry. So, industry. Industry is a term that is used for the production of the goods and the services. For example, like growing of crops on the farms, processing of raw material in the factories, manufacturing products in the factories. What are these? These are the examples of the industry, where the extracting mines from and getting coal from that. What is this? This is a type of industry where the work should be done. So, simply the industry means the production of the goods and the services, converting the raw material into the finished goods. And this term is used as industry. So, what are the characteristics of the industry? Industry is an economic activity because it runs and it works for a profit motive. The growing crops on farms and gets money in return by selling the wheat. Then what is this? This is an economic activity. So it is involved in the industry. So we can say that industry is an economic activity. Next is the production of the goods. Industry deals with the production of the goods and the services that satisfy the human wants. So, production of the goods should be continuous basis, and the goods should be a consumer goods or a producer goods that are used for the further production or that may not be used for the further production. Then it involves in the industry. Next one is the scope. As we can say that industry has a wider in scope because it involves the technology, science in its activities, because production should not be done single. It includes some techniques, some technology, so that is why it is wider in scope. Next, it is a part and parcel of business. Part and parcel of business means business activities are involved in the industry. Like production and the distribution of the goods and the services are to be concluded in the industry. That is why it is related with the business. Next one is the economic development. It helps in the development of the economy or the society, because in this they use the natural resources and also the man-made resources. Natural resources like plants, trees, or some things that are to be extracted from the earth. So for these they use the resources and then they make a products, and then the consumer can satisfy the wants. Then it involves the economic development, because economy should be grow. They produce something and they sell something in the economy, and the development of the society comes in this. Next is the creation of utility. Utility means the power of the commodity that satisfy the human wants. So when the raw material is converted into the useful products, and that useful products when satisfy the human wants, then it is creating a utility. So next one is the types of industries. Types of industries are on the basis of two types, that is on the basis of activity and on the basis of size. So on the basis of activity, there are three types of industries that are prevail in the society, that is primary industry, secondary industry and the tertiary industry. But on the basis of size, there are four types of industries that are prevail in the society. First is the micro industry, then small industry, after that medium industry, and then the large industry that works in the society. So first one is the on the basis of the activity. On the basis of activity, first one is the primary industry. Primary industry, we can say that they work on the processing and the extraction of the resources, natural resources, and getting the raw material from these. So primary industries are those industries that provides the raw material to the other industries. These are known as the primary industries. It is of two types. That first one is the genetic and then is the extractive. Genetic means that deals with the living organisms or that deals with the genes of the living species, like poultry farms, fish hatchery, animal husbandry are the examples of the genetic industries. Or maybe breeding of plants, seeds, nursery companies, or rearing of cattle for milk, rearing of plants in a nursery. What are these? All are these the examples of the genetic industry. So simply, genetic industries are those industries that includes the production of the goods that involves in the further production. Means if we use a poultry farms and we produce a milk can be used for further production by other industries, then it is known as the genetic industry. Clear? Next is the extractive industry. Extractive industry means something that is extracted from the earth and then it sells for the further production, like extracting the coal from the mines, iron, gas. What are these? These are the examples of the extractive industries. In this, mining, hunting, fishing are the examples of the extractive industries. So, our next type is secondary industry. Secondary industry is those industries that takes goods from the primary industry and then processing should be done. Means something should be processed and then the goods are to be produced for the final consumption and then it sell into the market. So it means the goods that are taken from the primary industry and then further production should be there so that the final goods to be produced and sell in the market. For example, flour mill, steel industry. What are these? These are the examples of the secondary industry. Because in the flour mill, which should be produced as to get in the final product and the consumer can consume it. So that is why it is known as the secondary industry. Next one is the secondary industries types. What are the types of the secondary industry? So secondary industry is also of two types, that is manufacturing and the construction industry. In the manufacturing industry means something that convert the raw material into the finished goods that are known as the manufacturing industries, like textile industry, furniture industry or some other industries that manufacturers means converts the raw material into the finished goods. It is known as the manufacturing industries. So in the manufacturing industries there comes the first point, that is analytical industry. Analytical industries, I'll give you an example, like crude oil that divides into the LPG, petrol, gas, diesel, grease that we are used. So it means the one product is to be divided into the various products so that they can be used. So we can say that analytical industries are those industries where the main product means crude oil or the raw material, we can say that, can be divided into the sub-products like LPG, petrol, diesel or grease. So that is why it is known as the analytical industry. After that there comes a synthetical industry. Synthetical industry means, like example, soap, paint, where the various products are to be used to make a one product. Where the various products are to be used to make a one product, it is known as the synthetical industry. Like soap, where various products are to be used to make a soap, right? Like, and then paint, and then some cosmetics products should be included also in this. That is why it is known as the synthetical industry. Next is the processing industry. Processing industry means like textile industry is included in the processing industry because it involves various steps or stages to form the raw material into the finished product. Like cotton. Cotton is the raw material, then it converts into the thread. Various steps should be involved. And then the thread used to make a cotton cloth. So that is why processing industry involves the various steps to convert the raw material into the finished product. That is why it is known as the processing industries. Like the example I gave you, a cotton. Cotton first converts the thread and then thread used for making the various cotton clothes. That is why the textile industry is included in the processing industry. Next one is the assembling industry. Assembling industry means something to assemble, something to relate with each other, like cycle, car industries, where the various subparts should be combined to make a one product, that is maybe a cycle or maybe a car. There are various tools or different parts that are to be purchased from the market and then assembled it or to combine it to make a one single product or a complete product. It is known as the assembling industry. Next one is the integrated industry. Simply we can say that integrated means that activities that are done at the same level. Means all the activities when are relate with each other and combine with each other at the same unit, then it is known as the integrated industry. Means where the every activity is done at the same level. Next one is the construction industry. As the industry, secondary industries of two types, manufacturing industries, and then it is of second type, that is construction industry. So construction means that something engaged in the construction work, like buildings of bridges, roads, dams, or some other things that is included in the construction industry. Means something that is to be produced by using of various raw material like bricks. Yes or not? Yes. So in this there are the examples of like buildings, roads, bridges that are to be made is included in the construction industry. So next type is the tertiary industry. Tertiary, third type. Tertiary, that are the services industries that provides the services to its customers. So examples are like banking, insurance, advertisement, warehousing. What are these? These are the services that are provided to the consumers so that the consumers are learned about what they have to want and how they can want it. So these are the services that provides even to the primary and the secondary industry also. For example, like first one is the transport. As transport is used to get the goods at the one place so that the production should be done, and also the production, after production the selling should be done. In the market where the products are needed, the transport is the facility that provides it. After that, there is a banking. Banking means related to the finance. Accepting deposits or getting the loans from the banks are included in the banking industry. Right? So banks provides the money to the customers so that they can get the money and they can produce something or they can sell something. This is known as the banking. Next one is the advertising. Advertising includes the knowledge that we provide to their customers so that what products to be available in the market easily. So that is known as the advertising. Next one is the insurance. Insurance that provides the covers the risk of the products. Like if the products are to be produced, then there is a risk of the fire or theft or some other reasons there are the risk. So that risks are covered by the insurance, as the life insurance corporations or some other corporations that provides the help to their customers so that the products should be saved and maybe sold in the future. This is known as insurance. Next one is the warehousing. Warehousing is also deals with the products should be stored. Like if we producing the goods today but maybe selling in the future. So at that time period, that gap is covered by the warehousing, where the goods are to be stored for a long period of time. When the demand arises, then we get from the warehousing and we sell it. Like if we producing umbrellas in the winter season but there is a no demand, so we kept it into the warehousing and in the summer season we can sell it. So what is this? This is a warehousing where the goods are to be stored safely and sell when there is a demand. Clear? So next one is the basis of the size. Industries that are classified on the basis of size. It includes the micro industry, small industry, medium industry, and then the large industry. So in the micro industries, their investments, these are differ from the investment purpose, like how many plant and machineries are to be involved. It differs the micro, small, medium and large industries. First one is the micro industry. So we can also say that micro industry is also known as tiny industries or the very small industries, where the investment for plant, machinery and equipment is up to rupees 25 lakh. Their investments should not to be exceed from 25 lakh. But in the service industry, if they provided the services to the customers, then their limit should be 10 lakh. Similarly, in the small scale, small industries, as they producing the goods, then their limit is they can exceed the rupees to 25 lakh, but up to 5 crores. They cannot be exceed from the limit 5 crores. Similarly, in the service industry, their limit is up to 2 crores, means they can get up to, that is does not exceed from the 2 crores, but they can exceed from the 10 lakhs to the 2 crores. So next, in the medium industries, they can invest their plant, machinery and equipment above the 5 crores to the 10 crore, means their limit is exceeds from the 5 crores and up to 10 crores, but does not exceed from the 10 crores. Similarly, but in the service industry, if the medium enterprises deals in the service industries, then their limit is above 2 crores but does not exceed from the 5 crores. Then it is known as the medium industry. Last one is the large industries. Large industries, their production should be large and they needs the capital at the large scale. So their limits is does not exceeds from the, maybe exceeds from the 10 crores, but they are getting no limit from the maximum, but they are above from the 10 crores, then it is known as the large industries. But if they deal in the services products, then their limit is they can exceed from the 5 crores. So this is all about the size. Size means where they getting the plant, machinery or equipments to produce the goods should be limit from these that are provided by the government. So this is all about the today. So your today's homework is to classify the business activities on the basis of its ownership and relate it with examples, suitable examples. Next question is, what is industry and its characteristics? Third question you have to write is, on the basis of the activities, explain the what type of industries that are prevail in the society. And the fourth is, draw a table and illustrate the investments in the plant and machinery that are needed by the industries on the basis of their size. So you can get the help of this link or some other links in the YouTube or go for internet, so that you can write questions of these properly.